Tell me about Arcade Fire. You know Win Butler.
Yeah.
Are you guys friends?
Yeah, Win Butler and I are friends. We're both tall men. We have to stick together. Tall white men. We've really got to stick together in this world. Um, but I really love Win's songwriting and the band in general. I think that. I feel like. He and I are the same age, and I feel like he's articulating something very specific for this very specific form of anxiety that people who are kind of in this transitional generation kind of experience on a low grade basis day to day, the way he communicates, the way things are changing, and even just beyond the generational thing, the loss of innocence thing really resonates with me. I feel like a lot of music opts, or a lot of songwriters opt to be kind of cynical or blasé about those things for fear of being, I don't know, genuine or something. But he's, I don't know, walking an interesting tightrope to me between things that are very singular and personal, and then framing it in this crazy kind of macro, epic, bombastic kind of way that, I don't know, scratches some itch I have.
There's a real crazy ennui in that song, "The Suburbs." Eh?
Yeah.
Did you grow up in the suburbs?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I feel like I recently, maybe a couple years ago, I went back to my neighborhood that I grew up in, and my parents have since moved, and was just walking around at 2 in the morning or something, and was really struck by how kind of inappropriate it feels to be walking around like a quiet neighborhood street like that at 2 in the morning. That anyone looking out your window, that a figure like that is more or less like a dangerous, like a threat. And the way that those neighborhoods are set up to be like a bubble or something. But it was really I was just amazed to feel that way in a place growing up. I just always felt like there was some strange malignant undercurrent to the whole thing. But also, I used to get in these horrible fights with my family as a kid, and I would run down the street to the park in my underwear, because I just felt that it was innocent, just pure innocence, really strange, just to feel like all of this is somehow my domain or something. But I don't know, for some reason all of that is kind of, I like the way that in that song it feels like this loss of innocence thing, this bait and switch that sort of happened, like I got tricked, by this whole arrangement. But knowing that intellectually, I still kind of wish that I could go back to that,
The idea of the suburbs?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm really saying it very well, but yeah, it's it's. I think that in America specifically, there's this strange commonality that everyone, there's this myth of being in the woods alone. The fear of being in the woods alone is that there's some psycho killer or something that's out there that's going to get you, that in all this empty space, there's one person out there that's going to murder you. And I don't know if that's a byproduct of there being so much open space and these suburbs moving further and further out into these places they're not really supposed to belong. But on some level, the suburbs really represent stepping out of the Vedic cycle or something, or the Vedic circle, whatever. I'm not that smart, but where you, we're really supposed to be getting eaten by bears, that's like the place, you know, in the natural holistic world, that's like where we belong on the food chain, but we've chosen to step outside of that so that we can live forever and, you know, remove ourselves from the world of natural consequences, and you give up a lot in order to live that way. And I guess in some way, you know, the suburbs kind of represent that.
A song like Bored in the USA, is that on the same continuum, or is that a different side of that?
I mean, that song, Bored in the USA, is, to me, it's about, there's nothing about innocence in that song. It's about passivity, you know, and it's not for wishing for a world that you used to have. It's wishing for a world that has been like advertised to you ideologically, that you've never actually existed in, that you've never actually appreciated the benefits of, and just kind of the disillusionment with that. But it's primarily about passivity, about this idea like, well, I have this birthright as an American, you know, I'm like owed this certain quality of life. And I think at some point it was easier to believe in that ideology, but I think, you know, especially, you know, within the last 10 years, that has been exposed as kind of being the farce that it is. But people are still, but it's like in our, you know, it's like that thing exists like on a subatomic level in Americans, where there's always this suspicion that they're owed something better than they have. And then there's this added layer of like, I think with the growing awareness of that, people do have to kind of be, that's where, you know, the laugh track and all that is kind of supposed to, articulate the cynicism and whatever.
Is there any relation to the Bruce Springsteen song that has a similar title? I just learned that that's supposed to be an ironic song.
Oh, it is. Yeah, that song, the narrative of that song is like, you know, I grew up in a small town. I couldn't get a job, so I joined the army, and they told me to go fight the yellow man. And then I went over there. I came back. There was no work for me. They sent my little brother over. He died. You know, I mean, that song is just about, you know, it's about lies, you know, and about ideology. So it's way more visceral than my take on it. But I was, you know, since the song is, ideology is always very sophisticated, and so to me, in order to like puncture that membrane, I had to put a really stupid lyric in there, you know, to kind of, you know, to do that very thing. So yeah, it's admittedly a really stupid lyric. It's a really cheap pun. But I just kind of needed to do that to draw attention to the absurdity of the whole enterprise.
Hey, I'm Talia Schlenger, your host on CBC Radio 2 Weekend Mornings. Friends don't let friends miss out on awesome music videos. So if you like this one, share it with a pal. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and leave your comments below.